Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Struggling Hunters. This is episode number 20. We're at 20.
Whoa, that's true. You do not lie. It's
Yeah,
20.
I'm amazed. It's crazy. 20 episodes for the Struggling Hunters. That's amazing. Uh, well, let's kick it off with I'm Eric
I'm Joe.
and we are the Struggling Hunters through and through.
Every bit of it.
Man, it's been a crazy ride with the podcast. The podcast seems to be doing pretty good, kind of growing at a steady pace. Every view counts. And, it's been really fun. Thanks to everybody that's been giving us a shot, listening to us. I appreciate you guys, all the subscribers, all the followers on the actual podcast platforms. Really appreciate all you guys' support. And can't thank you enough. Let's get right into the podcast. Joe, we just got done hunting all weekend together. Now that you're back at home, what are some of your thoughts with the hunt?
Well, it wasn't quite as successful as I guess how do you measure success? Do you measure it in experience, in the time that you had, the company that was kept, or actually filling your tag? I feel like, everything we just said, we were successful minus filling a tag.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's always the hardest part is man. I mean, I would, if I could do that every weekend, I mean, it'd be a pretty cool life. Just to hang out with buddies, go, try to pursue something and, hope for the best results. But yeah, it's always kind of tough whenever you come home and, you didn't get nothing. But I mean, with that said, I mean, it's all part of the process. And luckily for you and the tag that you drew, you're going to be able to go out and hopefully rein in on a nice buck. And with that said, so in episode 17 I was talking, this is before we went for the hunt, and I'm sitting there like I was so optimistic in that episode, and I was, I don't know, I feel like I put my foot in my mouth because I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna definitely take something, and it's all gonna be good, and obviously we did it. And it kind of made me cringe a little bit at myself whenever I listened to 17 the other day. And I was like, man, I really put my foot in my mouth because everything that I said basically didn't happen. I feel like I almost jinxed myself.
Yeah, and that's part of it was my fault, because I mean, not that I've lied about what I've seen and what I haven't seen, but I was feeling pretty good on that private property.
Yeah.
Especially seeing like a herd of, like, I think it was 12 bucks, and I was like, oh yeah, we got this in the bag.
Yeah.
I mean, I was trying not to count my chickens before they hatched. That's why I was running up the mountain trying to find another spot to hunt, just in case, for whatever reason, that those deer got blown out. And well, they got blown out for some reason, and I'm not sure as to why. But that's okay, Deer learn, they get to do what they want to do, even if it isn't what I want them to do. But
Yeah.
the hunt went pretty good, or it was a good time. Give you a little backstory. I'm sure we talked about it. At deer camp we did one little episode, but we'll give you a quick rundown since we're kind of on the topic. Tried to kill Eric within the first or second half of the day. Took him uphill. Getting him was it broken or showed how Joe hunts.
Yeah.
But the hard thing, I'll don't go into detail into everything, but the kind of the hard point of the hunt so far is the fact that we weren't able to turn anything up. we hunted from sun up to sundown. Never went back to camp. We'd hopped in the truck, moved places, but we were only at camp to sleep. But we didn't turn up any. We turned up a doe, but we glassed a whole hillside one evening and another one in the afternoon, and there was nothing moving. We're slow. We did some still hunting through some woods. Didn't, no fresh sign. We saw, like one area we saw some fresh prints, footprints, tracks, but there was nothing. We didn't turn up anything. It's kind of a first for me in a way, I guess, a little humbling because not that I'm like, the best hunter, but I always had some confidence in glassing, and at least turning something up that way. But there was nothing. And so it was kind of, a blow to whatever ego I have. It was definitely deflated.
Yeah, well, I'm right with you on that. I mean, it was I know we were scratching our heads, Saturday and Sunday going, what are we missing here? Because we were in some country that you would think would be great. I mean, I kept kind of saying to myself and out loud, I guess, is, man, there's cover, there's food, I mean, all the habitat you want here, and no pressure.
Yeah.
But we weren't coming across, like nothing was popping up, and we were glassing, and I mean, the amount of glassing we did, just amazing that we didn't really, catch anything and until that doe. So it was a new experience for me too. I mean, we put in a lot of work, you can't say that we weren't trying, that's for sure. And
True.
And it's a bummer that we didn't get nothing this weekend, but
the highlight of the whole weekend though was Monday morning. We went to a whole new area that I didn't really even think of wanting to go. Eric mentioned it. I think, was it Sunday or Saturday? Sunday.
Yeah, I can't remember because I remember whenever I did look, whenever we drove up past it on the road, and then we were coming back down, and I was looking down there, and I was like, man, that doesn't look too bad, as far as terrain and yeah. Anyway, you were like, nah, I got plans. I got plans.
Yes, I had plans. I was like, this is what we're gonna do, and they didn't turn anything up. Sat Monday morning, I woke up and before we got out of bed and started cruising Onyx and Google Earth, trying to figure out where I wanted to go. And then I was like, let's kept looking at there. I think Eric's like, oh, we have these other two areas over here we can look. One's place was just out from camp, and the other one was just up from camp and still across from across the canyon kind of. And you got looking on Google Earth on X, and said, man, there's some meadows in there. There's a creek that runs through it. And I'm like, oh, let's go hit this up. So we start, we drive over, jump down the ridge and down into the bottom of the canyon and start going across it. And we get into the trees, and God, it was like the first tree we see, almost not too far into the tree line, there's a big old elk rub. And then even before we got into elk rub in the meadow, there's, some elk scat. Is it scat droppings? What do you call elk poop? Elk poop?
I think if you want to be fancy, you can say scat. If you,
I always took scat as like coyotes and cats, but
that's a good question. Or well, it's not really a question, but no, that's kind of a good point, because I don't know. I always just took scat as the proper way of saying poop.
Yeah, maybe. So it's the scat. We got this elk sign, we got into it pretty quick and got going around. There's a lot of elk tracks, and then we got into a small amount of deer tracks, and there's even what I thought was a deer rub. Like the only reason I thought it was a deer rub is because the rub was on the bottom part of the tree and it didn't go very high up the tree. Whereas the other rubs that we saw, they're scrapes, no rubs. They were up a ways up the tree and down, so you can tell it was a bigger animal. So we spent Monday morning hiking around in that area, found a little wallow where an elk went in and played in the mud. We did a loop, walked around to the other side of the canyon and come back out, and found a well-used trail across like this rocky face and big elk tracks on it. So that it was kind of sad that we found that the last day, but at least we found it. That kind of, in a way, brought some success to our 3 days of hunting / scouting.
Yeah.
What it was. But
yeah, I kind of had that thought. I didn't really articulate it all the way through, but I'll try to here on the podcast. I think that's because we both have jobs and we have time limits for all this stuff, and it's kind of tough sometimes because you're almost trying to do two things at once. You're trying to scout area and also hunt it at the same time, and it can get kind of overwhelming, especially whenever you don't see nothing.
true.
It can get overwhelming. Then you're running out of time because like this last weekend we only had the 3 days, and then we didn't find what we're kind of somewhat calling the honey hole. We didn't find that until the last day, and it's kind of disappointing, but it's the way of life. I mean, every all the fellow hunters out there, you guys all go through it. You have jobs to go to, and you only get so much time off, and so you gotta, I know Joe was prepping. That's kind of the thing too. Joe's been prepping for months now to hunt that, but then and coming up with the plan to hunt it. And then those plans started kind of falling short, as the checklist was going down the checklist, they kind of started to fall out. And then we threw a Hail Mary to this area. And I mean, we obviously didn't get a shot off or really even see anything, but the sign, that was the biggest thing that, I mean, it was almost like we were seeing animals because we were so excited about the sign. Because if you can only understand, like, we did not see hardly any fresh sign for I guess the first 2 days. So that third day where we were seeing all this fresh sign, we were like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. We were so excited. And ultimately we just ran out of time. And I mean, that's the life of hunter in the modern day, is you run out of time and you got to go back to
it's definitely the struggle. One of the struggles we're facing right now.
Yeah.
It's, juggling everything that we have to in life and wanting to be able to spend time hunting.
Yeah,
that's a struggle.
But it all plays with your mind though, because like when we're out there hunting, we're trying to hunt and scout at the same time, and then you're running out of time, and it just those negative feelings kind of start creeping in, no matter how hard you try not to, and that's why what would be nice to, like, in the future, plan out, like, obviously a lot of some people that can get away with it do this before the opening day, quote unquote, but it'd be nice to actually just spend a couple days just scouting and not feeling that pressure of I got to get this weekend, and you just scout for a couple days before the hunt, figure out where you want to go, and then hit it after, hit it hard after the opening day. I mean, that's kind of the perfect scenario, but we didn't have that. We didn't have that luxury this weekend. And we came up a little short as far as getting some down.
the one thing though is that we kept trying, we kept moving, we kept trying to something different, and we finally. It took us till the last day to go through our little like check area list, but we found something. We found a place that seemed like it might be we could maybe bring some success from.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And which, speaking of, you're kind of talking that you might go back there
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
Yeah,
Depending on time off from work, if that works out that way.
yeah. I'm kind of glad because obviously at the end of our hunt, you were like, yeah, I might not be coming back to this mountain for the rest of the season. And I'm like, man, that's a bummer because we just barely found. I mean, this area, I don't want to say it because last time I said it in episode 17, I got my foot in my mouth, but it seemed like a good area. I'll put it that way. So
True.
you know, uh, I don't know. At the end of the day, we had a good time. You know, whenever you're crawling up mountains with a friend, you just there's something about it that like just not there's nothing that can replace those times and those memories. And so whenever it comes back to if we were successful or not, I mean, I think we were pretty successful. We had a great time, loved every minute of it, and
True.
can't wait to do it again. Hopefully
True.
you can get down to my way and in October and we can do it again.
True. Like I take away too from it is, second everything you just said, but like a huge learning experience. Well, I hope it's a huge learning experience is finding where all that sign was and kind of going, okay, that's what this area looked like. Now I'll just get on Onyx and try to find an area like that where I'm going to be hunting.
Oh yeah, definitely. That was something that we kept talking about a lot after when we were packing up camp and everything is literally what you just said is kind of taking a mental picture of that terrain and studying it on Onyx and then trying to transfer that to other areas. So that like for me in Colorado, I'll try to take that area and try to think, oh, this mimics the area that we were in, and go hunt that and see what it's like in Colorado. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, you got to kind of take that with a grain of salt because everything's different. That who knows exactly why the sign was so good in that area, but I think that you can pull stuff from that area to help find elk in another area.
yeah, for sure. I think that's the biggest thing is just hunting all these different places and just trying to just figure out where they're at, where they like to be. And hopefully over the years we get a little better at it, at least in our home states. And we get a little better at it in our home states and then, take that same mentality over to other places whenever we get to that point.
Right. For sure.
So, but yeah, it's been I don't know. It was fun. It was fun. And actually that's another thing though, is luckily like with archery, you get a hunt, for how, I mean, you get a hunt till December, right? I mean, because of your tag.
Well, correct. So my tag, my general season tag ends September 11th.
Okay.
And then I got to take an online course. And then that allows me to hunt, I think, into November.
Oh, November. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a cool tag though.
Right. But the area changes. So now, but it's called the late season, and there's a late season areas around the state of Utah that I'm allowed to hunt in.
Oh, gotcha.
And then my buck tag, I won't say anything. I haven't. It turns into a buck or a doe tag.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And how long does that go?
It goes until November.
Oh, okay. So in the late season, it's buck or doe.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's nice because, maybe you can get successful at least with a doe, if
Right.
nothing
And I
else.
feel like that's going to work out because like I can just hunt up here above Bountiful. That one of the late season areas is here in Bountiful
Yeah.
or North Salt Lake where I live. So, or, so, and I know the area here, not this, like better than I know the area where I'm hunting
Right. Right.
now. So,
Yeah. Um, and then one other takeaway, like on a personal experience for me, is this was like the first archery hunt that I wasn't physically hunting, but I was with Joe the whole time. Um, and the one takeaway to me is I've always been a rifle hunter, and that's usually October, November time period where the days are getting shorter, right? And so that was one thing about hunting the archery is how long the days were. We were waking up at 4 a.m, getting out of camp between 4:30 and 5, um, and then literally hunt till 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. I mean, we weren't getting back to camp till almost 10. Then we'd eat dinner and try to get to sleep as fast as we could.
yeah.
And it just makes for a long day. That's kind of the takeaway. It's a pretty long day doing that, and
Right.
rifles just not like that. It's a lot. Gets light a little later, gets dark a little earlier. It's a little
And
different.
it's a hotter hunt too, archery.
And it's hot. Yeah. It's so hot. So um sounds like your dogs are wrestling.
Yeah. Round one, maybe two.
Yeah.
Do a little bell.
I like it. Yeah, so but getting back to the podcast, who would have thought that this would have been fight night?
Right. On pay-per-view, huh?
Yeah, pay-per-view. But getting back to the podcast though, like yeah, it was fun. Like the archery was ton of fun. I learned a lot. Where Joe took me hunting at the terrain, like the mount, like climbing up the mountainsides, compared to where I hunt is just completely different. I mean, you're trying to make it to the top of these peaks, looking down, and where I hunt is, I mean, you could kind of consider it flat. I never considered it flat until I hunted with you this last weekend. So it's definitely different, but it's exciting, and I'm man, I don't know. I'm just so excited for my hunt, and it was a perspective thing too, being able to get out there in archery and do all that walking and climbing the hills like that. On a perspective thing, I'm like, oh man, I need to get whooped up in shape a little more for my hunt too in October. Even though it probably won't be as extreme, it definitely, like the first outing, of the year, I was huffing and puffing on some of those hills, and so I was like, well, I need to kind of get my butt in gear here. So it's a good perspective thing for that as far as fitness.
Yeah. So I guess on the fitness note, we'll do a little get to know Eric and Joe question.
Oh, okay. Little segue, huh?
Yeah, a little segue.
Now I'm surprised. I'm kind of nervous here because I don't know what he's gonna ask, so I'm a little
So with
nervous.
you talking about getting in shape and being ready for your hunt and whatnot, kind of goes along those lines. So I'll phrase it this way: will Eric ever do a 5K run?
Oh yeah, I want to. As a matter of fact, what I'll do a 5K eventually, and something I've been kind of thinking about is actually doing a Spartan race someday in the future. I'm pretty aware that I'm not in the greatest shape. So
You're a self-aware man, huh?
yeah, I'm pretty self-aware on that. So I got a lot of work to do before I just go enter a Spartan race. Uh, but, but at the same time, it's definitely a goal of mine to do that. And so what, probably to help prepare for a Spartan race, I'll probably do a couple 5Ks to help
To help
prepare.
prepare for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
become a Spartan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, well, I don't really have any questions prepared, but I'll just flip it back at you. What about you?
Yeah, I was, thinking of doing 5K, and then my little sister, she has done two marathons, and she's kind of motivated me to do a couple marathons. She wrangled me into doing this one that ended up being 17 miles. It wasn't, it was a race, not a race, but a run, I guess is what it was. And so it was 17 some odd miles. And so what's another?
One question though?
Okay.
Did you call an Uber?
I did not call an Uber.
Okay.
I probably should have called an Uber. But when I was getting ready for the race, I decided I was going to run it like maybe the week before, and I only ran like probably 4 miles to prepare for a 17-mile run.
How did you finish all right?
I finished walking. I finished the last, I think it was 3 miles. I walked more than 3 miles. I shouldn't say I ran. But
here's the biggest question with that though is were you the last person?
Oh yeah, I was the last person.
You were the last person?
Yeah, so
I was hoping you would say you weren't the last person. Then I was going to say that's a win.
So this run that I did wasn't even meant to be a run in this particular run that was going on. So my sister Becca was getting ready for a marathon and was trying to do a run because I guess as you're getting ready for a marathon, you got to do longer runs, as you build up to doing a marathon. So she was using this as a build. And this particular race or run only had 2 events. There was a 5, or maybe I think there's a 5K and maybe a little bit longer one, or a walk and a run and a 5K. And there was this bicycle route. Well, the bicycle route was the longer route, which is the one that Becca wanted to do. And so she called up the people that were putting this event together and said, hey, I want to run the bicycle route. And they're like, oh, okay. And so Becca called me and Anna's husband, and then one of her other friends, and they all are runners. Like the one friend has done 50 Tough Mudders or something, and
oh wow.
And this brother-in-law, he's done a marathon or 2, and he's always kind of running. And then Becca's prepping for a marathon, and so there was only 4 of us doing running the bicycle race. And so I'm like, yeah, I'll do this. So not only did the 5K race finish, not only did the bicycle race all finish, so all that was done. Everything was packed up, and everyone was gone by the time Joe comes across the finish line.
They already put down the finish line thing?
Yeah, the finish line was all down. Everyone was gone. It's just my family waiting on me.
Well, at least you finished.
I did finish, and I got that medal.
Oh, that's funny.
I think they did like one of those. Has anyone talked to Joe? And I'm like, oh yeah, he's still out there. He's still moving along. All right, well, we'll see you guys later. Here's his shirt and his little medal.
Wow, that's funny. I know I'm surprised you never told me that story before. Well, you probably didn't want to, huh?
Nah, I'll tell it. It just never come up.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that you explained the whole thing though, because I mean, you did a different route than everybody else, so
True.
that's funny though.
Yeah. So yeah, so I kind of want to do. I actually want to do like one of those trail runs, that honestly, or 100-mile run at some point.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of where I draw the line, I think.
Well, the thing is, like, I kind of look at it as like, I'm not running it to win. I'm just running it to finish. Like it's just to see what. And it's not like you have to run the whole thing. You can walk and go as long as you make the cutoff. So it's more or less another reason to be out in the mountains doing something.
Yeah, that's kind of a good point.
But I'm not saying when I'm going to do that. But I can kind of I kind of want to work that into my future at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I still don't know about that one for me. 100 miles is a long ways.
It is.
I don't like driving 100 miles, so I don't know if I want to walk 100 miles or run or semi-run.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, I don't have it planned out yet, but it's one of those ones that it kind of got me. It's kind of like, yeah, be one to be able to talk about. Like, oh yeah, I did that.
Yeah. Oh man. No, I'd be pretty excited if you did it. I'd be cheering you on in my Uber ride.
You'd be sitting there eating your ice cream bar, milkshake.
Yeah.
Come on, Joe.
You could do it.
Cheeseburger.
I'm hungry.
I'm still hungry.
Yeah.
You want a bite?
I'm still hungry. Making me think of that story about my son. Every
Uh,
time we talked about that this weekend, actually, too.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. That's that. Yeah. I probably will, man. I'll be like, just got a double Mac from McDonald's. You want one? I bought two.
Right.
I'll eat both if you don't want it.
Man, this workout's hard.
Joe, you're making me hungry out there.
Oh, shoot. But yeah, so anyways, I just figured, trying to get ready for elk hunts and deer hunts, that'd be one way that's kind of fun to do it,
Yeah, if you could complete 100-mile, I mean, man, I don't know. I might have to just try the 100 miles with you just to try to keep up with you in the mountains. Because if you complete that, there ain't no way I'll keep up with you in the mountains. So I got to try to stay with you.
You can, yeah.
I could try anyway. Yeah. Well, I feel like I got time. I know you're not going to be signing up tomorrow, so
No.
I got a little time to put in the work.
Yeah.
But no, I do. I don't know. Or maybe I'll just do a couple at that point. If that happens, I'll just do a couple extra Spartan races or something.
Yeah. There you go.
But I was trying to think of a question while we were sitting here yapping. I was trying to think of a question for you, but I'm kind of drawing blanks as far as.
But as far as a question for me,
Yeah. You got another one?
No, that I can really think of.
Well, that was actually a really good question, though. I really didn't know what you were going to ask, so I was a little nervous, but that was a good question.
Why, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Well, I mean, I don't know. It kind of feels like we're running out of stuff to say, so we could probably
Yeah,
just
I think
end it. But uh, man, yeah, stick with us for more hunts, more talks about 5Ks and 100-mile races. But yeah, I mean, it's that time of year where we're hunting and we're hunting, more and we're hopefully be successful this year. And so there's plenty more fun episodes to come.
yeah,
So
for sure.
again, guys, thanks for listening to us. We appreciate everybody's support. It really means a lot to us. And obviously we couldn't do this without you guys. So I really appreciate it. With that, thanks for listening to the Struggling Hunters, and we are out.
Peace.
Adios.
Hasta something.
La Vesta.